Hello, this is Elizabeth Kirkley Best, Show Education Project Web, and also Where Are the Jews? .blogspot.com. Talking today about some common questions about the study. There seems to be some misinformation that's floated around about the study, about its accuracy, its design, etc., etc. And it's mostly by people who do not have a research background, do not understand controls and criteria and so forth for selection of data. So I'm going to begin by answering a series of the most common questions that I've run into regarding my study. I started doing some pilot work around 205, 206 to look at Jewish terminology and its changes over time in modern Bible translations. Now, one of the errors that people make about this study is to assume that it's all a KJV versus modern Bible translation study. I need to first clear that up to tell you that it's not just a KJV study. It's a pre-Shoah Bibles, and the last translation was about 1901 when the ASV came over to the United States. That was the American version of the RV. And the next significant Bible translation did not appear until 1952 when the Revised Standard Version came over. But in the middle, from the 1800s leading up through World War II, there were a series of significant events in the change in Greek and Hebrew texts that underlie Bible translations. So the study was to look at the transition between pre-Shoah Bibles, the foremost representative pre-Shoah Bibles, versus modern translations or post-Shoah Bibles. Now, the reason that this is important is because one of the moves in World War II in German theology, and certainly in the positive Christian movement or the German faith movement, was to de-Judify German society and even religious practice on all levels. And I reasoned that if that was the case, then the Bible indeed would have gone through an equal dejudification process. So I began to look at a difference in terms between pre and post Shoah Bibles. The reason I did not just use the King James is because it's the effect of the change in Greek and Hebrew that's most significant, and whether there was an effort to remove Jewish influence or change Jewish identity in the scriptures. So that's the rationale of the overall study. The pre-Shoah Bibles that were used may come as somewhat of a surprise to people in KJV controversy, because the pre-Shoah Bibles included a Catholic version, Douay-Rheims, and the KJV, and the Darby, and the ASV. And the reason being not that the ASV in particular wasn't influenced by the Tischendorf text, but that it was before the Shoah and before the move to switch completely to the Nestle Aland Greek, alias the Tischendorf Greek, and the Biblia Hebraica Steckartensia by Rudolf Kittel, renowned anti-Semite, along with his son, who was an eminent Nazi theologian. So the study then compares means on terms between pre-Shoah and post-Shoah Bibles to determine if there was an effect to either lessen or generally change the effect of certain Jewish terms, if there was consistency in translation, and to look at the the possible dejudification effect. The results we'll talk about in relation to another question.